Hello, welcome to TVC Gupshup once again. When I was working with an English daily in Jamshedpur, when I started my initial reporting days, and I was covering education, I came across something, a term called constructive punishment. Now, for me as a young reporter, I never realized that punishment could be constructive also. But I learned this term from a principal, an amazing teacher, and an amazing educator. And today we have with us Mrs. Vijayam Kartha. And so, ma'am, to be very honest, I told you that I never realized that punishment could be constructive. This was a very short intro, but I remember this. It was, imbibed somewhere in between. कि punishment भी constructive हो सकता है, and you taught me that while I was interviewing for some other story while in Telegraph. So, ma'am, tell me, you are here for a workshop for initiatives of change. You have been an educator, and we have seen the love that you have garnered from teachers, from the education community. How has been the feeling working with schools for so long, being a teacher, a principal, and an educator?
The answer is very simple. I have reaped more than I have sowed. I am drinking from my saucer, my cup is overflowing. That is my feeling when I think about my schools, my teachers, and my students. I think I have been extremely blessed to receive the affection and respect of most of my students and most of my colleagues. I'm sure there must be some teachers, some parents, some students who must have been irked by my behavior or my words or my actions, but it was never intended. None of my actions was ever intended to hurt somebody. Sometimes, like in those days, I think I was I was very immature. I used to think that maybe that will help my child to grow. But hindsight, I realized somewhere I might have also committed mistakes, but the number of children, my alumni who come back to me, who ring me up once in a while, who talk to me, so they say I have made a difference, at least in some of their lives. It's very gratifying, and I believe that only the blessed can become teachers.
Yeah. So because we have been into a podcast series with teachers, principals, and most of them have said that it is only the blessed that can become teachers because they have the power to mold so many lives, and you have had that opportunity. So, ma'am, we have been talking about teaching and education, and your experience has been phenomenal. Talking about teaching as a career. How do you see what is the difference then and now? Because you were way back in 80s, 90s, you were a teacher, then you became the principal, then also board of directors for KPS, I guess,
I
if
was
I'm not wrong.
I was a founder trustee. I am
Yeah,
the founder
yeah.
trustee and former vice chairperson for Kerala Public School
Right.
Trust.
So what I observe as a journalist also, ma'am, because this is a common question I ask to every principal, the change. But these days, what I have observed, I may be wrong, but teachers become teachers for the sake of the profession. And also, I have observed that these days it's a very convenient profession as compared to corporate life. Of course, there's pressure, but the timing matches, it suits everybody. What do you think? Is that the right way to think as a teacher?
Yeah, you are right. Even in the past, it used to be like that. Many of us joined the profession because it was the most convenient profession. Like I can send my husband and my children to school, and I can also go to school.
Yes.
I need to work only for half day, and every year I get 3 to 4 months holidays. So it used to be, and even now, it's more or less like that. Very few people join because this is their passion. They want to be, teachers. But I always feel it's okay for you come to this profession for convenience. But once you are here, be passionate, be loving and caring, give your 100% to the children. That is what I feel. But these days it's becoming more and more difficult. One reason may be the present generation who have become teachers, they don't have much financial burden.
Right.
They can just leave the job and sit at home. Our generation, we had big families to support, so we had to, we did not have an option. Now this present day generation have an option to be at home, especially women, if their husbands are paid well.
Working, huh?
So why should they work? So that option is there. then there's a lot of burden also on teachers these days. As days go by, it's becoming more and more difficult to handle children because parents' aspirations are skyrocketing, and students are also becoming, because of many reasons like social media influence and so on and so forth. Students are also more aware of everything. They are aware of their rights, they are aware of their privileges, and so it's not that easy to handle children
I
in
think
the
they're
past.
more aware than required.
Absolutely, many cases.
Yes, so right, and you have been also training teachers a lot. What do you think are the qualities of being a good teacher? Because we have had teachers, good and bad both. We have been sharing some experiences also. I know of students and my friends who would not, even including me, we would not want to go to school or attend that particular class because a particular teacher was teaching.
Yeah.
Is that same now, or has the trainings helped over the years of nurturing them, grooming teachers also?
It's more or less the same. I remember a book written by a Jesuit father. The title of the book, he was a principal, the title of the book was, "Can you love my children?" So this used to be his first question to every teacher whom he interviewed. Can you love my children? Then he will proceed further.
Yeah.
So I too believe that love for the child is the most important quality of a teacher. Love for the subject comes later.
Right.
Unless you love the child, how can you be an effective teacher? Present day, when I go for this training and all, teachers feel it is just like another profession. It's just like another profession. So I have to go and teach history, physics, geography, whatever, and I can just go back home. Most of them believe that. Most of them forget that as teachers, our role is to prepare the children for life. We are the nation builders. It's so beautifully said that the destiny of a nation is being created in the classrooms.
Yeah.
So many of us don't think that way. They feel it is just another profession. So I wish teachers were, teachers realize that they are the true nation builders, and they have the power within themselves to help the children develop into happy, compassionate, and socially responsible citizens of the country, maybe the leaders for tomorrow.
Right, but ma'am, over the years, I have seen that it has become more of a profession. So, like love for the child, it's an emotion that you have to carry being a teacher. But today, it's like like every other corporate work, it is considered as a profession. But these emotions, how do you make sure that the teachers that you train, that the teachers that you interact with, or when you were the principal, how to imbibe these qualities in a teacher when you lead them?
Yeah. So there can be some practices. For example, when you meet a person for the first time, you immediately form an opinion.
Yeah.
The moment you start talking to that person for 5 minutes to 10 minutes, many times your opinion changes.
Yeah.
I remember one principal telling me, I just was sitting next to her during a meeting, and then we started talking. At the end of it, before she left, she told me, I've always used to think that you are such a serious person, you don't mingle with people, and I realized you are so friendly. So knowing a person at deeper levels helps the teacher to feel that love and compassion for children. That is where teacher looping practices like teacher looping helps.
Yeah.
If the teacher continues with a class for more than a year, the teacher gets an opportunity to understand every child, his or her family background. The moment you know the family background of the children, 99% of the teachers, the feelings of compassion, empathy, love, everything will automatically come. That is what I feel. So we can develop, and then keep sharing research-based practices with the teachers. What does modern research say? Modern research says that positive student-teacher relationship really helps in academic excellence and character development. Parent-school partnerships help in enhancing academic excellence and character development. So then pro-social skills being taught right from KG level help. So there are so many such practices which I think as leaders, as trainers, we have to share these things with our teachers, make them aware, like what are we doing, why are we doing and how should we be
So
doing.
this is like questioning yourself.
Yeah,
So-
and a lot of reflection. Yeah.
So yeah, reflection is necessary. You were also talking in the session. So what change do you see now from your perspective? That modern day schooling. Of course, we have national education policy, and there's so many. We have AI also. We have social media. Teachers are also, students are also on social media. But how has it changed? For the better or for worse? How?
Many cases for the better, some cases for the worse. Because of the social media influence, the connections have become less. But even now, we see that with good teachers, with very loving and caring teachers, students have the same sort of a great relationship and they respect those teachers and all. Children's attention span has really come down.
Of course.
So the teachers have to really think of some strategies that, every 3-4 minutes, after every 3-4 minutes, they have to break the monotony. They have to bring some sort of, think of some strategies which will help the children to bring their attention back.
So the teachers' challenges also increased a lot.
Absolutely, many folds, yeah.
So talking about again teaching, it's like what do you talking about the workshop also? What did you train them today? I mean, because we are talking about initiatives of change, how have you helped teachers in your training sessions?
So initiatives of change believes in this maxim: be the change you wish to see in the world.
Okay, what
famously
Gandhiji
quoted
said,
by
yes.
Gandhiji. So that is the first thing. You have to be the change. If you want your children to be empathetic, compassionate, and respectful, you be empathetic, compassionate, and respectful.
Yeah, because children observe.
Oh, children, your words speak, your actions speak so loud that I can't hear your voice. So you have to be a role model. So role model doesn't mean that I have to be a perfect human being. I can be imperfect, but I have to be. I should be very forthcoming with my apologies, with my I should not feel bad to say sorry to my
So
children.
you have
if
the
I come to
humility to actually admit your mistakes.
admit your mistakes. So that's what when I say being a role model means, if your child has committed a mistake, how should he handle it? So you have to be a role model for all those things. So in our trainings, we always focus more on building the right attitude. So I think the Carol Dweck has said that it's all our success is 85% of attitude and the relationship skills, and only 15% of technical skills and knowledge.
Yeah.
So whereas in all our schools we are focusing on skills and knowledge, mostly knowledge, skills to some
Yes.
extent. And attitude and values, etc., are limited to a few moral science or life skills classes.
Yeah.
That also
I
become
don't know,
another
even
subject.
today we have moral science, or
Yeah.
we had moral science
Yeah.
lessons. But there's a very interesting observation now which I can teachers face, whether you should be worried of your teacher or you are friendly with your teacher. Where do you have that balance? Because being too friendly is also not wanted, and being too strict is also not wanted, given the situation we have now. So where do you think where should we eke out a balance?
Yeah, so that also is the greatest challenge being faced by many of the teachers. They don't know where to draw that line. It's a very thin line. You have to be very friendly to the extent that the child feels very comfortable and safe in coming and sharing their deepest worries and concerns with the teacher. At the same time, the child should know where I can't cross the limit.
Right.
I remember some of my children, when I used to be the principal, they used to come and share with me that about their affairs, what can we do? I can't help it to that extent. But where do we draw that line? I think that you learn by a lot of reading, reflection, and by experience, by watching your senior teachers doing it, remembering your good old teachers. So reading, reflecting, and sharing, these three things matter a lot for any teacher to understand where is that thin line.
Right. Apparently, there were no B.Ed degree needed back then. I mean, there was no degree which was mandatory back then, it is a mandatory degree to be a teacher in school now. Also, we were talking about happy schools. So now here parents, teachers, students all play a role. So how do you see, because we just completed that session and we are here, so how do you see what are happy schools and happiness, what does it mean to you?
I know.
Because I'll say, sorry to interrupt, it's like people today cannot segregate between happiness and conditional happiness. There's a difference. So what do you think on that?
Uh, for me, being happy means like I don't have any much worries about this thing. I'm contented. I'm accepting the situations, and there is a lot of love, affection, compassion, and all in my life, in my school. So a happy school is where there is a lot of trust, where the
Between the stakeholders?
between the amongst the stakeholders, starting from the management and the principal, they're trusting everybody and they're expecting. So when they trust, I think it automatically becomes mutual. Where there is a caring and environment, a safe environment where they can openly share their concerns and all. Plus, where there is no fear, you are listened to.
Yeah.
They know that what if I have a problem, people in this institution are ready to listen to me. And yeah, kindness, I think kindness is what makes me happy. Somebody asked me, I said, whenever I see kindness anywhere, it makes me happy.
Because kindness is contagious.
Kindness is contagious. So I feel a school where kindness is in the air. So I think that school must be a happy school.
So, ma'am, we were talking about kindness, happiness, and everything, all these emotions. But ultimately, ultimately the parents, when we also talk to parents, they said कि पढ़ने के लिए भेजते हैं, ठीक है, ये सब तो कहीं और भी सीख लेंगे. They want that quote unquote दुनियादारी to be taught to children, of course, with better marks, amazing degrees. Ultimately, to join a corporate, have a good life, and I think it's more of a materialistic thing. So again, what do you want to tell parents that school तो हम भेजते हैं पढ़ने के लिए, अब compassion, trust and kindness का क्या करेंगे? So what do you want to tell them?
So I completely understand the parents, and I won't blame them for their aspirations. And any parent will would like to see their children flourishing in life. But schools have a role to play. I feel teachers are more empowered than parents to educate the children. I keep, whenever I get an opportunity, I like to share this. The way doctors are trained to heal, the way policemen are trained to take care of law and order systems, and the judges are trained to deliver justice, we teachers are trained to educate children. So we have a greater responsibility of educating the children more than the parents, I feel.
Okay.
And now, not presently, since so many years, we have an additional responsibility of educating the parents.
Yes.
Because the parents, their aspirations are skyrocketing, and they are scared. Everywhere they say there is going to be a lot of problems in the future. We don't know what future holds for these children. So their worries are very, very genuine. But what schools should do? Schools should have constant communication with parents. Start the academic year with class-wise orientation meeting, where you introduce them to the school rules and policies, what are their expectations, etc. Plus, share the latest research about parenting. Tell them how can you be a better parent. Talk about the policies of the school. If I have a policy that I don't give homework up to standard 4, I should be able to convince my parents I don't do this because of this reason. Nowadays, WhatsApp groups are there. They can share relevant information to that. Again, there are so many good articles, good videos come about parenting, etc. So they can share with them. That is another way of educating the parents and filling that sort of gap. And before starting any new initiative in the school should first buy in the support of the parents. Write to them. From this month, we are starting this practice because of these reasons.
You have to justify. You have to justify. Things to them.
What will be the benefits for the child and for the parent. And also, research says, like, if you want academic excellence, the parents want academic excellence and good behavior from children, a good character. Right. What does research say? Research says that positive, student-teacher relationship, a positive school climate, pro-social skills, etc., etc., will ensure both. So the schools have to constantly talk to the parents. So schools may say, where do we have time? Parents may say, where do we have time? So you can have annual orientation meetings. When the parents come to collect the report cards, we can have communications
The
with
parent
them.
teacher meeting.
Yeah, and then keep sharing information with the through WhatsApp and all. Many parents won't read,
Yeah.
but then that's okay.
We can
What can
try.
we do? Yeah,
We
we
can
can
try.
only take the horse to the water. We can make it
Of
drink.
course.
Yeah.
And so, do you feel there's a lack of consciousness somewhere? I mean, it's of late there has been a lot of rift between schools, parent, teachers. Parents are also aware about their rights now because a lot of there's a law, there's a right to education. There are so many things happening. There's a lot of information flowing. So, do you think there's a lack of consciousness both in parents and teachers, and of course students?
Yeah. In the past, I think it was more. Now things are improving.
Okay.
When I was a principal in the 90s, many times I used to feel schools and parents are in two different camps, the way they behave.
Okay.
We are in two different camps. So I used to tell my parents, convince them, no, we are in the same camp and we have got only one dream, your child. If we are here, it is to nurture your dream of making your child highly successful and all. So this this has to be put it into the minds of the parents. So those days I think there was a lot of like disconnect between them. Now schools
There's so
and
many technology also.
yeah, now schools and parents are becoming more aware of the need to partner with each other. I think nowadays schools and parents are trying to come closer. Definitely there are a few parents, who will go and file a case and all. But nowadays, even the press and media also, such things will come up fast.
Yes.
Even social media,
Yes.
they will make a
Everybody
reel.
is a publisher.
Yeah, everybody is a publisher. Yeah, they will make a WhatsApp media and make it viral. But I think generally, I think they are coming closer. They are understanding that they have to work closely
On
with
the same
each other.
dream that they are
Yeah.
seeing. So yes, and so talking about media and talking about how do you see teachers and education being covered in, because see, I have been an education reporter, I had a little bit of understanding of this sector, but how do you see media behaving when it comes to education news? Is it okay? Is it enough, or there is a lot of scope?
There's a lot of scope.
Like what?
Like, again, in a place like Jamshedpur, I know that there are most of the schools, their work is covered in the newspapers, and also Jamshedpur is a blessed place, they like that.
Yeah.
So,
Everybody knows everybody,
and
yeah.
every school gets featured and all.
Yes.
But in bigger cities and all, it's difficult also. But I wish there are more, positive stories of parenting, good practices.
Not only results. Huh?
That's it, exactly. There is, but again, there also I see there is an increase. People like Times of India in Bombay and all, they have, school editions and all coming. They come out with, I'm forgetting the name, come out with news about schools. But I think we can do much more, because children are the future, and the schools are the place where they are blossoming.
Yeah.
So we have to, maybe we have to focus more on schools, what they are doing.
Yes.
Good practices. I remember one day, one of the schools in Jamshedpur, one principal, I saw in the newspaper, their school had done something very beautiful. So I called up the principal and I said, oh, I am so happy, your school. Actually, what they were doing, they were teaching literacy to the contract employees of Tata Steel, like those daily laborers. So I said, oh, what a wonderful job you are doing. So her reply was, Vijayam, we have to do it. When people like you are doing so much, we have to do it. So I thought, how people say, when you do good work, don't talk about it. Now I think there is a need to talk about it, because many people don't understand the possibilities. So she was talking about that. They were not doing much, but she is now talking about it because she realized that, okay, we can also do it. So this way, when you cover positive stories from schools, what schools are doing. So I think it can help other schools,
Yeah, not
to.
only because of that, because also because it gets lost. Because there's so much happening, there's a cacophony of everything, murder, no crime, politics, but these little things. And you know what, in journalism it is taught that news is negative. The first thing that you get to know is news is
Oh,
negative. Now that things are changing, that people do broadcast, because I have been a positive journalist all my life, mostly. So that is how they say, and also because for people to get inspired, that is the reason it is necessary to
absolutely.
thing to get things covered that ways. Also talking about best practices, ma'am, because we started TEEP, there has been a lot of best practices in Jamshedpur schools. You have been a part of it. How did it all start, and was it there when you were a teacher or principal in 90s 80s back then?
So in the 90s, I became the principal in the year 1991. Uh, so those days, schools were very closed. Most of us did not want to share information with each other. Once in a while there will be an inter-school competition for students, but communication between schools was almost nil. If there is a problem, we may call up our counterpart, otherwise no. But then I feel very, very happy to share this. Like in the 90s, I was the principal of Kerala Samajam Model School, and we started the first initiative of having an eco club network, where
Okay.
25, 26 schools came together and we formed a network of eco clubs. I think that was one step in the direction of bringing schools together. And we had that time done a little work, like not little, a good amount of work, like tree plantation in large scale. Then we had an environment mela. We had a program called Remembering Gandhiji. We did quite a lot of work. So that brought schools together. Then we also started a forum called Disha
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
educators.
yeah.
So every month we used to send invitation to all the schools to come for 2 hours, and KSMS used to be the venue, and we used to have practices like maybe an expert talking or a book review, sometimes teachers sharing their best practices. So in the 90s we had started collaborating with each other, and then when TEEP came, like it took it
It was
into another,
formal.
yeah,
It
it
was more
became,
formal.
yeah.
Right. And also talking about best practices, those thank you cards that you started. Nandini ma'am also said that KSMS and many schools are doing it now. So appreciation, how much does it matter?
Appreciation matters so much. Like even at this age, like when someone tells something nice to me, I keep remembering it for days together, and every time I remember, it brings a smile, it brings happiness to me. So appreciation is it should be an integral part of especially schools, amongst teachers, between among students, between teachers, students. I think anywhere we catch them doing something good, we should immediately appreciate the children. So in KSMS, those days we had started every monthly meeting, we used to appreciate teachers in return. Like we used to give appreciation letters to teachers for their good work, and students keep doing a lot of good work. So every Children's Day we had introduced the Children's Day awards, which still continuing. So where we used to award children for their acts of kindness
Kindness.
and goodness. So it had nothing to do with
The marks and academics.
academics or sports or arts, nothing. It was purely what you have done out of your goodness. So so hundreds of children used to get this thing. So what the certificates used to be for helping their peers, like for
Yeah.
peer help. With my help, another child improved, so I get a certificate. Somebody brought some money which was found somewhere. So
Or they
like
gave it back, something like that.
for every small thing we started, so that appreciation makes a lot of difference. So this today also we had some sharing. So I was saying that when you give appreciation cards, ask the children to find out at the end of the academic session how many appreciation cards or letters you have got. Look at the number,
Yeah,
and
you said
yeah,
50, huh? So if it's 50.
award them in the during the assembly. So what can happen, especially students from lower KG to 4, they will compete with each other to collect
Healthy
those cards.
competition. Huh?
Yeah, healthy competition. And by the time they reach 4, if they keep doing it, it will become a habit for them.
Yeah,
It,
but ma'am, talking about appreciation, school appreciating the child is fine. But children appreciating their peers, I don't know. I think again that competition feeling comes in between. That I will have to do better than him,
Yeah.
and it is very unlikely that we appreciate our peers. That okay, you have done great, and being happy in their happiness. How far is it true? I mean, is it happening?
It's true to a great extent. So again, if the teachers are mindful right from KG level, inspiring the children to celebrate each other's achievements. Instead of saying, "Oh, see, look at him. He has got a beautiful handwriting. Let us, clap for him." You can say that, "Wow, he has got a beautiful handwriting. Let's celebrate. Let's, let's clap for him." And I'm sure each one of you have got something or other, and then the teacher can go on to mention something. And the teacher has to keep looking for the strength of the children every time to appreciate. It's not that a few children I will appreciate.
Yeah.
And every child has some strength or other. So the teacher has to make it a point to publicly announce and keep bringing out this point.
Otherwise
back.
it can transform into jealousy.
Jealousy.
Also. Yeah.
So it will bring this thing back to them, that every child has some strength. You may have a good, beautiful handwriting, but this girl must be good in maths, that's okay. So everyone has his or her own strength, and we should, sort of be happy, and we should celebrate each other's success. If we can put that seed in the children's mind right from lower classes, I think, it will, that jealousy and all will be very, very minimal.
Yeah.
With some children it will be there. Another thing is, schools have some competition. Instead, if you have a number of competition, how many skills the children can have?
Yeah.
As many competitions.
Right.
So every child,
it will include more children,
and every child will, at KSMS I remember, and even late in KPS I know, most of the children, there will be hardly any children who haven't got any certificates, because some or other activity.
You have something to celebrate.
Yeah. So if right from recitation to drama to dance to yoga, so anything.
And I know you promoted extracurricular activities like anything.
Yeah. We used to have 26 hobbies. In the 90s, we used to offer 26 hobbies to children.
Is it still 26 or has it increased?
I don't know. I haven't asked. So right from cutting and tailoring to painting to cooking, everything was there.
But these days it has become skilled, skill-oriented classes, skill development or something. Yeah. So Ashok ma'am, but teacher bias is real. It exists, and because we are all human, what do you tell them to get rid of their bias, or maybe reduce it a bit? Because teachers only, like the complaint is, teachers only prefer those students who perform academically nicely in class.
Yeah. Some teachers are, I have also seen that some of them are biased. So what can we do? That's why our schools have every monthly, we have monthly staff meetings. And the staff meetings, most of the time, it's for 2 hours. 1 hour is like what happened, review of the last month and planning for the next month. The next 1 hour is sort of, professional development, where we talk about all these things. Especially when I go for a round, I see so many things. So I used to keep a note of all these things in my diary. And next staff meeting, that is my, what I'm going to say, agenda. I will tell that this is what I have seen, and then how it affects the child, how it can, spoil the relationship between you and your, and plus also telling them, if you are a very, good teacher, if you are unbiased and all, what can be the post benefits? You get more name and fame. You get more promotions because you are seen as you are viewed as a good teacher with good quality. So this is for your good. So we keep reasoning with them. And again, I feel this teacher looping, same teacher going with the same class, reduces the bias to a great extent.
Okay.
Because the reason is, because the teacher knows every child, slowly the bias ends most of the time. Even then, if it remains, parents know this teacher, my child is going to be with this teacher, better go and complain. So then we can arrange for some special training for counseling for her that way.
Right. And so, ma'am, one question I ask to every principal teacher: what does success mean to you? I think I am gathering a variety of information and definition of success. What is, because ultimately you're working towards a success of a child. So what is success to you?
Success is, being happy and contented. I have enough of everything. I may not be a very rich person, so I am happy. I have enough, and I am able to reach my goals. So then I am successful. When people ask me about success, I always remember a gardener we had in.
Okay.
I think he's still there in KSMS. So he used to be so resourceful. He was the gardener. Then he used to train our project school children who are interested in gardening. He used to outsource his work to them, and he had his LIC policies and all. He had a vehicle. His children were studying in English medium schools. So I feel he is the one of the most successful persons, because he had enough, and he was a very happy person, and he was happy that he was able to help so many children. He was leading a very happy, contented life. So for me, success is different for different people. Some people, they feel like I have to have bank balance to be successful.
Most of them actually, that is the parameter. Wealth.
Parameter, yeah. For me, I feel I'm successful to a great extent because I have enough of everything, and I don't want anything more. Like, I'm so happy that, and then maybe one reason is success is also related to how you value your relationships. So when you have happy relationships, when you have a happy family, good friends and all, I feel those people, I normally, I haven't thought much about, but then this is what I feel.
Thank you so much for being on this podcast, because I am sure that whoever will watch this podcast, especially teachers, you are an encyclopedia when it comes to teaching pedagogy and everything. So thank you so much for being on this podcast. I know your students also will watch you. They love you so much, and your fellow teachers also. So we are again thanking you once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Antara, for this opportunity. I loved talking to you.
I know the time was less and we could go on.
Yeah.
That happens to, me talking on education with principals is like that. But again, time is a limitation. So yeah, so we'll have to put an end to it here. So once again, thank you.
Thank you.